Hi, it's Summer and this is my fall book haul. I got so many fun books this fall, so I'm really excited to share all of them with you, and I think that I'm going to start with the ones that I either got secondhand or were gifted to me. This one I've already talked about a little bit on my channel, but it's Killers of a Certain Age by Deanna Raybourn. My friend Gwen sent me this because she had an extra copy. It was so nice of her, and I actually really liked this one too. This is a really fun action book about this group of women that were assassins together for this organization, and they've all retired and they're going on a trip together on a cruise to celebrate their retirement. But while they're there on the cruise, somebody from their organization that they worked for is trying to get them killed. This follows different timelines, so you get to see this group of women while they were actively being assassins and also in the more current day timeline where they're retired and stuff. I feel like this is definitely the kind of book that could get you out of a reading slump. Next, I have Smashed by Junji Ito. This is another like horror manga anthology. I got this secondhand from somebody on Instagram. I don't really know specifically which stories are in this one, but I think it's going to be really similar to Shiver by Junji Ito. This next book I'm so excited about, and I'm so frustrated at myself that I haven't read it yet. It's Malice House by Megan Shepherd. I was very kindly sent this copy by the publisher through this program that I've been doing called Book Tours. It's all organized by Victoria from Biblio Lifestyle on Instagram. It's the coolest thing that she's put together, and I'm so lucky that I've been able to be a part of it this round. But she works with publishers to get copies of books and send them to book reviewers and stuff, and even book reviewers that are kind of smaller like myself, and it's just the coolest thing. I'm so excited about this book. This one is about an aspiring artist named Haven whose father has recently passed, so she's going back to his house to kind of clear it out, and while she's going through it, she finds like an unpublished manuscript of his. He was a published author when he was alive, so I guess this book is unlike anything that he's published. It's super creepy and stuff, and she decides to start illustrating the things that are described in the book. Something that is becoming one of my favorite tropes is like a daughter that's returning home and her dad has like kept secrets from her. So that book definitely has those vibes, and so do two of my other favorite books that I read this year, Just Like Home by Sarah Gailey and Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. I love those books so much, so I'm really hoping that this is kind of the same vibe. This one I am so happy that I found thrifted. It was literally $1, and it's Book Lovers by Emily Henry. It was so popular a few months ago, and Emily Henry is just a really popular author in the first place. I haven't read anything by her yet, but I'm really excited to because I've heard really great things. I don't really know what this book is about. I just know that it's a book about books and that it's probably going to be spicy. This is one that I was going to buy full price, and so I am like so happy that I found it secondhand. Next, I thrifted Let's Just Say It Wasn't Pretty by Diane Keaton. I don't normally read a ton of nonfiction, but every once in a while I like to, and I love Diane Keaton. Like, she is just adorable. I grew up watching a lot of the movies that she's in, and I don't know, I just feel like this will be nostalgic and cozy, and I just think that she's such a classy lady and so funny. I just love her, so I'm excited to read this. I also thrifted Pieces of Her by Karen Slaughter. Karen Slaughter has been an author that I've wanted to get to for years now. I have just heard so many good things about her books. I've also heard that they just like really go there as far as like thriller horror type things. I have no idea what this is about, but I just saw that it was going to be adapted and that it was Karen Slaughter. I'm assuming it's just going to be a thriller, but it says Mother, Hero, Liar, Killer. How can you tell when all you have is pieces of her? So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this is like the book that I should start with from Karen Slaughter. So if you have any recommendations, I would really love that. I think that I heard one of her books that's really popular has some pretty bad like animal violence in it, and that's something that I'm sensitive to. So I don't really know if I'm up to reading that one, but definitely give me your recommendations for her books. Next, I thrifted this cute little edition of Jaws. It's by Peter Benchley. This was published in the 70s, so I just thought it was a cute kind of like vintagey looking copy. It's actually pretty short. It's about 300 pages. I love this movie though. My aunt made us watch it as kids before we went to the beach one year. I don't know what she was thinking, but I really like that movie. And I actually got to see the animatronic shark from the movie when I went to Universal Studios last month. But I just thought this would be a fun book to read sometime. I think it'd be really fun to read during the summertime. I also think this will be a fun one to read because I just really watched Nope by Jordan Peele and loved it so much. And I've heard a lot of people kind of compare it to Jaws because it's sort of like instead of the ocean, you have the sky, and instead of a shark, you have aliens. So I don't know, I just thought that was a cool comparison, and I think this will be a fun one to read. Also, I didn't say what this one is about because I think the cover kind of says it all, and I think most people already know what it's about. This is like the most iconic monster story though. And then my last thrifted book is The Hunting Party by Lucy Foley. I actually thrifted this yesterday. I've had this on my TBR for a while, and I think this is going to be my first Lucy Foley. She's an author that I've wanted to get to, and I also would like to read this winter because I just want a fun winter thriller, and that's definitely what this looks like, and that is honestly all I know about it. The back says a New Year's reunion in the remote Scottish wilderness. One of these friends is a murderer and one won't make it out alive. Sounds like a good time. And now we're gonna move on to books that I purchased new. I I have a lot of graphic novels in this stack. This first one is The Tea Dragon Society by Katie O'Neill. I honestly know nothing about this one. I purchased it solely because of the art style, because look how beautiful this is. I mean, it's fantasy and involves tea, so I already know that I'm going to love it. Next, I have Hooky Volumes 1 and 2, and these are by Miriam Bonastre-Tour. This series is middle grade, about twin witches that miss the bus to magic school and the adventure they go on, the friends they make, and the trouble that they get into. I loved the first book. The art is beautiful, and I'm really excited to pick up the second one. Continuing with all of the graphic novels, I have Garlic and the Vampire by Brie Paulson. If you're an anxious person, you have to read this. This story is about personified vegetables that work for this witch who's the one that animated them. They help her harvest her garden and sell everything at the local farmer's market. It's very wholesome, but one day in this town they have a problem with a vampire, and Garlic is the only one that can help. It is just the sweetest story and has beautiful illustrations. After that, I have The Seance Tea Party. This is from Rumena Yi. This is middle grade, about a girl who is kind of like not wanting to grow up and leave her childhood behind. One day she's having a tea party with some of her stuffed animals, and she ends up summoning a ghost that is a girl around her same age. It's a really sweet story about friendship and growing up, and it's perfect for spooky season. Next, I have Mooncakes. This is by Wendy Zhu, Suzanne Walker, and Joamette Gill. This is a cozy, magical romance adventure kind of graphic novel. It follows a witch and a werewolf, and the queer rep in this one is awesome. Next is Crumbs by Danny Sterling. This is also a cozy, magical graphic novel that has a romance in it. Lori is an aspiring musician that works in his aunt's magical bakery. And then Ray is a seer who's feeling kind of conflicted about her career path that she's going down. The illustrations in this one are also beautiful. Their smartphones that they have in this book are really fun, because it's like if Siri was kind of like animated and could like pop out of your phone a little bit and like she had a personality. This is kind of what she looks like. I think her name is Stella, but it's like a little iPhone sprite that's like your helper, and I just think that's so cute. And then my last graphic novel is Garlic and the Witch by Brie Paulson. This is a sequel to Garlic and the Vampire. I should have held them up together, but anyway, I'm assuming this is really similar to the first one, but they're dealing with a witch this time, and I cannot wait to read it. Now we're on to just like the regular novels and stuff. This is The Book of the Most Precious Substance by Sarah Gran. This is about Lily, who's a book dealer, and she has been given the task to track down this really mysterious book called The Book of the Most Precious Substance. There are very few copies left in existence, and there's also like some murders that are starting to happen to people that are connected to the book. It feels like a tiny bit dark academia, and there's kind of like some secret society type things that are happening. The book that Lily is looking for is about sex magic, so this is a very unique and interesting book. Next, I got Verity by Colleen Hoover. This is the special edition that just barely came out. I read Verity a couple of months ago, and then I made my friend Rachel read it, and we were both obsessed, and we both wanted to go and read the bonus chapter that's in this, so we went to Barnes & Noble together one day. And we weren't gonna buy it, and then we both decided to buy it because we didn't have our own copies, and we just loved it so much, and this is definitely one that I think I will be rereading in the future. Honestly, I would not suggest that you read the bonus chapter. It kind of ruined it a tiny bit for me. I'll also warn you that if you're gonna buy the special edition, it gets fingerprints on it like no other. That's part of the reason we decided to buy it, because after we were done reading it in Barnes & Noble, I was like, I don't wanna leave this edition for someone to like buy if it has my fingerprints all over it. This is a super popular book, so I think pretty much everybody already knows what it's about, but this is about Lowen, who's a struggling author. She gets kind of the opportunity of a lifetime to complete a series that's written by this author named Verity. Verity has been in an accident, and so she can no longer continue writing her novels, so Lowen is going to ghostwrite them for her. So to kind of gather up all the information and the plans for the future of the series, she goes to Verity's house and is kind of going through her office, and while she's going through it, she finds an unpublished manuscript, and it is very sketchy. This is a romance thriller, and it was a very fun time. Next, I have another Junji Ito. This is Uzumaki. Unlike the other books that I own from him, this is not like a short story collection. This is all just one horror story, and it's about a town that starts getting taken over by spirals, and that's pretty much everything that I know about it. Also, these end pages are beautiful. Oh, I say that and then I see like these. Okay, not so cute. Next, I have Shady Hollow by Juno Black. This is a cozy mystery series, and it's about animals that have like regular jobs, like people jobs. This one is following Vera Vixen, who is like a news reporter, and I guess there's a murder that happens in their town. All of the covers in this series are stunning. After that, I have another cozy book. This is a cozy fantasy though. This is Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. This is about an orc who decides to stop fighting and open up a coffee shop, and I think it also has a sapphic romance in it. So I'm very excited to read this. I'm actually reading this week. After that, I have a horror book. It's We Spread by Ian Reid. This actually should have gone with my first stack of books that are like gifted or thrifted. I actually won this in a Goodreads giveaway. This is about Penny, who's an artist, and she has to go live in this nursing home and really sketchy things start to happen there. Penny is an unreliable narrator, and this book definitely feels like a fever dream. This next book is Disorientation. It's by Elaine Say Chow. I need to look up how to pronounce their name, but I am obsessed with this cover. It's kind of the first thing that drew me to it. I don't know a ton about this one. The inside flap says, a Taiwanese American woman's coming of consciousness ignites eye-opening revelations and chaos on a college campus in this outrageously hilarious and startlingly tender debut novel. And I think one of the genre tags on Goodreads was thriller, so I don't really know what to expect with this one, but I think it's gonna be a fun time. Next, I have a sequel. This is Venom Dark and Sweet by Judy Lin. This is the sequel to A Magic Steeped in Poison that I read earlier this year and really enjoyed. This is an Asian-inspired high fantasy where the magic system revolves around tea. In the first book, there are poisonings and uprisings and a competition. So I can't really say exactly what the second book is about, but I'm really excited to continue in this series. This next one is The Daughter of Dr. Moreau, and it's by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. This is an author that I've wanted to get to for a while. This one says it's a dreamy reimagining of the island of Dr. Moreau set against the backdrop of 19th century Mexico. So it looks like the main character is Carlotta, and her dad is making these things called hybrids. It sounds like it's going to be a really unique horror story, and I am obsessed with this cover. The last book in this haul is The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana. Again, this cover is so cute. This one is about an isolated witch named Micah who has an online presence as a witch. She's a real witch, but her followers think it's just fake. One day she gets found through her online presence by a home that has some orphaned witches that need to be taught. So she gets hired on to teach them magic, and I think it's found family, lots of magic witchy vibes, and I think that the love interest is a grumpy librarian. Those are all of the books that I have purchased or received recently though. Let me know in the comments if there are any of these that I need to make a priority, and again, let me know if you have any good Karen Slaughter recommendations for me to start with. Thank you so much for watching though, and I will see you in the next one.